Justin Fields leaning toward the New York Jets is what we're hearing right now. We're refreshing X. I've got TVs on both sides of me, and we've got Chris Godwin being retained in Tampa Bay as we predicted pretty much all off season, as we've talked about this one. So file on in. We're going to be kicking off this free agency coverage, pre-NFL draft coverage, all of it and more. Godwin, I've got sounds going all over the place. I got 3 different TVs going. The Fantasy Football Show, Free Agency Frenzy, Reaction Show, Chris Godwin back to Tampa, Aaron Rodgers might be a Steeler, Justin Fields, make sure you become a Jet today, pal. That show begins right now.
Live from the FantasyFootballShow.com studios. It's the Fantasy Football Show. Live! Monday through Friday, 8 p.m. Eastern. Smitty is also live whenever news breaks.
All right, so here we are breaking down everything as it comes rolling in. I've got a plethora of things to show you, signings that happened. Najee Harris has begun to say his goodbyes. So he's gone and out of Pittsburgh, according to this report I'm reading right now. We've got a whole bunch of other, like I said, rumors regarding the quarterback dominoes that we very badly need to land in spots before some other things kick off. But Justin Fields right now is potentially, going to be a New York Jet if things keep going in the right direction for Justin Fields. Chris Godwin back in Tampa is fantastic. He took $20 million or so less dollars to stay a Tampa Bay Buc. Patriots were going hard after him, offering him $20 million more. $20 million more. And he said he wanted to play with Baker, Chris Godwin maker. And so he's back as a Buc, as we predicted from the jump. Ashton Genty lining up to probably be a Bear at this point. And give kudos to Ben Johnson and the boys and what they're doing with this offensive line. Jones, Thuney, we got Dahlman. Look, securing up the center was a critical and important part of this offensive line build. Jackson, Wright. This is a good, formidable offensive line for sure. I still have major questions about Caleb Williams, just because you have a good offensive line that doesn't fix, the issues that I think are present with Caleb. The fact that Caleb doesn't play well in structure, and you're going to try and block for him, and time again, the guy holds onto the ball. And if you look at the data, the Bears' offensive line was, in terms of pass blocking, was inside the top 10 last year. Caleb was the most sacked quarterback in the league last year. And everyone thinks that means the offensive line played badly. But you measure offensive line in production and efficiency differently than just sacks and if the quarterback gets hit. Caleb Williams chose to hold onto the ball, and the metrics show that the Bears' offensive line, the pass blocking side of it, played at a top 10 level. They played at a top 10 level last year. Caleb was the most sacked quarterback in the league. So there's some accountability that needs to be had there for Caleb in this situation, but certainly going in the right direction, and it does feel very, very, very much like we're looking at a Genty drafting at that Bears first round pick in 2025, which I'll admit that I don't want him to go there, but I think this offensive line is shaping up nicely, and regardless of Caleb, this is going to be a good running attack. So we'll be okay with it. I just would prefer him to be on another roster and another organization that takes football a little more seriously. Chris Godwin re-signs with the Bucs, 3-year, $66 million deal. Khalil Mack re-signing with the Chargers on a 1-year, $18 million deal. We've got Horn, highest paid DB in NFL history. Falcons released Jarrett. Chiefs agreed to a 2-year deal with Moore. You've got other news here you can read. And Chargers release Gus Edwards. Reddick agrees to a 1-year, $14 million deal. Again, at the bottom here, center desires and needs solved by the Chicago Bears on a $28 million guaranteed deal, $42 million for Dahlman. This is a great move by the Bears. So let's move that over here. Let's look at all this. We got Braxton Berrios agrees to terms on a 1-year, $2 million deal. You've got B.J. Hill, 3-year, $33 million deal to re-sign with the Bengals. Commanders, Kinlaw, $30 million guaranteed. That's crazy. Kinlaw like crapped out in San Francisco. I don't know what that is, but maybe it would be crazy if the Commanders turned him into a solid player. Remember, Kinlaw probably targeted by Adam Peters when Adam Peters was in San Francisco, so we'll see if he can rejuvenate his career at all. Barnett to a 1-year deal, $5 million. Texans. Jaguars get Jordan Lewis to a 3-year, $30 million deal. Jimmy Garoppolo goes back to the Rams on a 1-year deal to play with Devontae Adams. Devontae Adams is punching the air right now. He's absolutely punching the air right now. This is a quarterback he called out and basically said like he wanted to quit if they don't change their quarterback and get Jimmy out of the lineup. Can you imagine? Like, why did the Rams do this? Titans get left tackle Dan Moore on a 4-year, $82 million deal, $50 million guaranteed. Man, it's crazy. So Carlton Davis agrees to a 3-year, $60 million deal. So a lot going down here. A lot going down. Lions finalizing their DJ Reed deal, and Patriots get Moses on a 3-year, $24 million deal. So lots to go over in terms of the upcoming potential moves. We got this one also. Chiefs sign former 49er running back Elijah Mitchell. That's an interesting signing. He's a good player, but he can't stay healthy. And what's this right here that I have clipped? Jimmy Garoppolo. Yeah, that's crazy. That's crazy. Crazy. Aaron Rodgers close to signing a deal with the Steelers. This is something that your boy talked about a while ago as a potential landing spot for Aaron Rodgers. And again, one of these dominoes falls, then the other one's going to fall to different locations based on that one domino. So everything's revolving around. If Aaron Rodgers goes to the Steelers, and then Russell Wilson comes out of the bushes at the facility, I think Russell Wilson's hiding at the facility, just waiting to get, the call. Come back, Russ, and he's just gonna run right into the facility from the bushes. I don't think he's left the premises. Justin Fields has, and he's going shopping, and he's getting wined and dined. And the New York Jets are like, we'll take you, Justin. We'll take you. And then this report here, Justin will not sign with the Steelers unless they commit to him being the QB1. And they might do that, but I wouldn't trust him, Russell. Or Justin. I wouldn't trust him because they love Russell. They love Russell. They don't love you. They pulled the rug out from under you. What will make you trust the Pittsburgh Steelers? Go to the mother-freaking New York Jets and go win games. Go get rebuilt. Go get rejuvenated. Throw to Garrett Wilson. Turn Garrett Wilson into your DJ Moore. Fields turned DJ Moore into a top 5 to 7 wide receiver in fantasy football the year he got DJ Moore in Chicago, and you cannot blame him for the collapse of the passing attack when he went into the lineup in week 1 and went 4-2 running the ball. And there was a report today on ESPN that was talking about how Arthur Smith dialed back Justin Fields' passing attack, and I think Ben Roethlisberger even spoke on it when interviewed today, and he said that Arthur Smith dialed back the pass with Justin Fields in the lineup. He wasn't even allowed to throw. And all of you that come at Justin Fields' neck and say he's bad in Chicago, he's bad in Pittsburgh, he's been handcuffed in both of his landing spots. So why go? Yeah, go somewhere where you can be finally, the offense can be finally catered and built around you, tailored around you. And I hope it's the New York Jets. It would be an unbelievable turn of events, something we've been hoping for. Sam Darnold likely to go to the Seattle Seahawks at this point. I mean, here's what we talked about last night. I don't think much has changed. Sanders, we don't really know where Sanders can go based on the dominoes falling. And the thing that's tough about predicting Sanders is a lot of teams are jumping off the Sanders train. So we're leaving this as a question mark that's going to be dependent on some of the spots that are left. But Pittsburgh's either going to be Russell Wilson or A-Rod. Tennessee's going to be either A-Rod or Russell Wilson. I mean, I don't even know if this is possible, but this is like the leftovers. The Giants, the Jets going to get Fields. Seattle going to get Darnold. These are predictions. Giants trade up to the 1 to get Ward. And then Dart, I think, still lands in Seattle. I have a feeling that he lands in Seattle. If Darnold's the option here, I think Dart is the future. And we're going to be excited on draft day if this happens for the future of JSN. I just have a gut feeling on this Dart to Seattle. But again, that whole board could be gone. And I don't even... You can't even blame someone when their predictions of landing spots go awry when you try and predict that big, menu of landing spots, because like I said, one movement, then you got to reassess everything because the dominoes can't just go into different, slots. It all gets jostled around. Like if Aaron Rodgers goes to Pittsburgh, everything changes for, well, not this board, but for everybody else's board. And if, let's say, Fields went back to Pittsburgh, then we got to reassess everything, because where's Russ go? Where's Aaron Rodgers now go? Does Rodgers now go to the Giants? And then the Giants wouldn't trade up to the 1 to get Ward. And so it changes everything. So it's hard to really understand where that's going to go. Okay, so we got the news just keeps coming. It keeps rolling in. And I'm talking right now, so I want to make sure I catch up and I don't miss anything that's breaking now. Ford to the Rams on a 3-year, $30 million deal, defensive tackle. Wow. Lots going on. Nothing quarterback related. Nothing quarterback related yet, other than what we've talked about. And so we're kind of waiting for that to break. Hang tight on that. Defensive tackle Milton Williams agreed to a deal averaging $26 million. Although Schefter was saying that he didn't think that was finalized yet, but maybe it is now. Don't see anything yet in regards to Aaron Rodgers or Justin Fields, just what we've told you. So I'll open the phone lines right now if you guys want to dial in. Again, Bears improving their offensive line in a tremendous fashion, which probably, if you ask me, probably means that the Bears are leaning toward an Ashton Genty drafting, which has its pros and cons. If you ask me, there's definitely some pros, no doubt about it, especially with the beefed up offensive line. But it's Caleb that's a concern. It's the organization as a whole that's a concern. But the way Ben Johnson's been operating so far, I've been pretty impressed. He's kind of turning it into a Detroit Lions system real quickly. So Ben Johnson's been doing a great job. Dial in.
Call into the show. Call into the show.
Dial in. Russ, Carr, Aaron Rodgers. Yeah, the Carr stuff is crazy. The Derek Carr stuff, like the fact that the Saints want Derek Carr as their quarterback tells you everything you need to know about the New Orleans Saints. They're not trying. They don't know how to run an organization. They don't know how to assess talent. The phone line was down. I'm rebooting it. Okay, it's up now. So dial in if you tried and you didn't get through. The phone lines are now open. But yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy, man. What else we got? I'll be in if I had international calling. Thank you, Big Gene. Appreciate you. Patriots trade for Pickens. It's possible. I do think that Pickens is not going to be on the roster, but that doesn't mean that like a team's going to pay what the Steelers want, back in return. So I'm not saying it's a lock. I think it'll be talked about and explored, and it'll just come down to what team is willing to give the Steelers what they want. But there's no way this guy gets quiet. How would he get quiet when his counterpart just inked a monster deal? Here we go. Sam Darnold, Seahawks. There it is. We've been waiting for it. Sam Darnold closing in on a 3-year deal worth $100 million. This is breaking right now, and I'll throw it up on screen. So Sam Darnold, Seahawks. I knew this would happen right when we went live. I wanted to go live off of right when one of the big things dropped. One of the big quarterback situations dropped. So definitely Definitely knew this was going to happen as soon as we went live, and I had all the graphics created and everything, but that's okay. This is what we're doing. We're here live trying to break all this down. But Sam Darnold, $100 million deal getting closed in, which in my opinion is going to trigger the Justin Fields signing by the New York Jets. I think the Jets will probably try and up the ante or apply some pressure to Justin Fields in terms of like, you know, hey, we're gonna bring someone else in, or we're gonna talk to Aaron Rodgers. Like, are you sure you don't want to, you know, ink this and get this done? I think Fields gets pushed into a deal because of this right here. So this is a $100 million deal, according to Tom Pelissero, 3-year deal, and I still strongly believe that this Seattle Seahawks team is going to strongly consider drafting Jackson Dart as well at 18 overall. 3-year, $110 million deal per Schefter. So let me put that now up on screen because that changes the figure. So that's kind of what we predicted, that it would be a Kirk Cousins deal, which is what Kirk Cousins got essentially. And at the end of the day, this is not a deal that necessarily means that he's starting for the Seahawks even in his third year. You know, we got to keep that in mind, that the same thing that is happening with Kirk Cousins could easily happen with Sam Darnold. Darnold proved himself in a tremendous fashion last year, bouncing back and being a player that everybody wrote off, including myself. I admit I did not see him playing at the level he played last year, but he also had JJ, he also had Addison, he had Hawkinson, he had the entire gauntlet of players and an offense and a coach of the year and an offense that was unbelievable. So it's hard to know what he's going to do, but this is great for JSN. Give JSN a quarterback that at least proved he was really good last year, and a quarterback that I think is a better downfield thrower than Geno. I know Geno can be good at times. He's kind of a mundane, boring, but effective quarterback. I would say he feels a lot like maybe a Joe Flacco felt, you know, back when Flacco was a little bit more efficient and steady in the NFL. Like that, it's not a crafty, you know, insane pick, you know, by the Raiders or signing by the Raiders. It's not like he's going to be a top 10 production type quarterback at the NFL level, Geno Smith, year in and year out. Could he have a year inside the 10, 11, 12, 14? Sure. But this is a guy I would probably not rank in my top 15 quarterbacks, Geno Smith. But he's not bad for Bowers. He's not bad for the Raiders. He's a bridge quarterback. Maybe the Raiders draft Jackson Dart and they develop him under Geno Smith. It's hard to say. I think Geno and Darnold, if I had to guess, one of the two won't be starting for their prospective teams 3 years from now. But this is a great move for right now. JSN's going to get the football. I think they bring in another wide receiver, obviously, in Seattle. It'll be interesting to see what they do with that 18 overall pick. And again, it could be Jackson Dart, or they could just provide him a weapon. What if it's Egbuka? What if it's a potential, you know, offensive line piece or a defensive player that makes this defense just a little bit better, that helps field position and all that, so Darnold can have some room to throw on the field. I don't know. It's pretty interesting. Travis, you're on the line. What do you think about Darnold to Seattle? Kind of expected.
Yeah,
better than Geno, right?
Good. I what?
Better than
Better
Geno.
than Geno, yeah.
Yeah, better than Geno.
Yeah. Iceman in the chat made a good point that Seattle needs to up the ante on that offensive line because they have a bad offensive line. So if they don't fix it, that could be the weak link for Darnold, because he, like they say, sees ghosts pretty fast when he gets pressure. But one thing I would say is that this solidifies even more that Purdy is not going to get anywhere close to what he wants, because people don't realize that they're only 2 years apart in age.
Yeah.
I mean, Darnold's only 27 and Purdy's 25. So he just got 33, and if Allen got 50, you know, he's like we talked about, he's probably looking at something like 40 maybe. And I wouldn't even pay him that. But I think also it keeps the door open for Seattle and the Raiders, like you said, to draft a QB.
Yeah. Whether
it's this year or next.
The other thing too that makes me think, you know, that this deal, like, Yeah, at 18, you might take a offensive lineman, but I also believe because this team will be more efficient and effective, and they're going to have more of a balanced run attack. I do think the offensive line, I think people don't realize what one or two different pieces or a scheme or whatever can do to the offensive line production. So anybody that thinks that if they don't improve the offensive line, let's say from a personnel perspective, that it's going to be the same offensive line, it won't be. Sometimes a coaching staff, is using an offensive line badly, but I think they do need to address it. I'm just merely saying that this addition could help immediately. And then I know you're getting rid of DK Metcalf, and you could say, well, that's bad, but I don't know. It depends what they do. If they go get an Amari Cooper, they go get a Keenan Allen, they go get somebody like that, or they go get Cooper Kupp. Cooper Kupp could be in Seattle. Who knows?
I was going to say, because DK is more of a down the field receiver, so his skill helps, but he doesn't necessarily create more time for the offensive line. So if you bring in someone who, obviously JSN is good at that, getting, shorter routes if he needs to and stuff. But so depending on who else they bring in and who else they have at receiver, that changes too, like you said.
Yeah. Darnold, man, this is crazy. We knew this was coming. Darnold, 27 years old, deal's worth 100, and it's going back and forth. I keep seeing 110. I see 100. It's 100 again. $100 million, close to
55
100.
guaranteed.
Yeah, 55 guaranteed. So let me put up the new clip of this because it apparently changed again. So it looks like it's going to be 100.5 million, 55 million guaranteed with 37 million in year one. See that's going to make Purdy's deal at 45. I wouldn't even be surprised. I don't think the Niners will take back what they offered him, but Purdy might race to sign his deal because, I mean, the Niners may have offered too much, and I don't know that they would take it back again. I'm not sure. Maybe they will. It's a business. Maybe they will, but I mean, $37 million for year one. I don't know.
Yeah, and what that means is, by like you said, that's basically a 2-year deal then, because $37 million. That means in year two they only have to pay out $18 million guaranteed. I know there's dead cap and all that, but if something changed fast, they could move on from him after 2 years, no problem.
Yeah, Slim, this isn't a long this is not. This is this is what makes me think Dart will be drafted by 18 maybe, is because I don't think they're pot committed to Darnold for the long term. Darnold wasn't going to get a guarantee. Look, so $55 million guaranteed, Slim. So you're saying they must believe in him for the next 3 years? Not necessarily. $37 million coming to him in year one. They can literally walk away from him after the 1 year if they wanted. And they lose some money, but he's only guaranteed $55 million. So this makes me feel like Dart is a real likely candidate for this team. And man, won't that be interesting if they draft Jackson Dart and this guy does exactly what Cousins did. Kind of flops a little bit like a wet fish on the field, and then all of a sudden Dart's in there by the end of the year. And then they're like, what a waste. The Falcons wasted money on Kirk Cousins, and the Seahawks wasted money on Sam Darnold. I'm not predicting Darnold fails. I'm just saying that if they draft Dart, he's going to be looking over his shoulder.
Right. Darius Slay to the Steelers, cornerback.
I love. I didn't know Purdy didn't go to the Super Bowl. Oh, is that how you measure it? Come on, man. Get out of here with that. Thoughts on my Patriots tonight, draft expectations. They're doing some nice subtle moves. I think draft day is going to be pretty important for the New England Patriots. What you guys do on draft day will be very interesting. I think that you're a year away from really showing people what you could be capable of. That's for sure. Keep missing on the wide receivers, which kind of is a shame. Godwin would have got paid $20 million or more to go to the Patriots, but decided to go back to the Tampa Bay Bucs for what I think is a criminal amount of money, criminally low. I can't believe Godwin's contract, $20 million a year or $22 million a year.
Yeah.
Pretty crazy. Matt O says prediction number 3:
Matt O.
Caleb Williams finishes higher than Jaden Daniels. Oh boy,
That's bold.
yeah. If it happens, that will win. Matt O. Okay, Matt O. Put it on the board. Matt's $50 hauler. Let's go. Caleb Williams. What is today's date? The 10th, March 10. Matt O. says Caleb outperforms JD5 at the end of the year.
$50. Give me $50, holler. Right there by the river, Smitty. Give me $50. Oh, yeah.
All right, you're on the board, pal. You're on the board. That's a bold one. Look, I want to make it abundantly clear. So I wrote that on the bold prediction board. $50 haulers go on there. The winner gets to co-host the show with your boy at the end of the year. Superfish won. So Superfish gets to co-host the show. Just waiting for how Superfish wants to do it. On the phone line, give it away, whatever Superfish wants to do. I think we need to make sure, like the offensive line's looking good, and they probably draft Genty if I had to predict today. But Caleb is still part of the problem. He was the most sacked quarterback in the league last year, and his offensive line played fairly well. People don't understand the details and ins and outs of some of the data. The offensive line was top 10 in pass protection. Doesn't matter if he's the most sacked quarterback. That's on him. You can't blame sacks on the offensive line when it's calculated the way that it's calculated. When Caleb's taking a sack or holding onto the ball too long and playing off schedule so much, it's not blamed on the offensive line statistically. Like, you got to look at the numbers. Caleb is still a problem. The question will be, can Caleb play within structure? Can he? And if you go back and watch any Caleb Williams game, go back and watch any Bears game last year, Caleb struggled in the first quarter of every single game when he's in structure, under center, 3 and out, 3 and out, 3 and out, over and over. And Caleb's stats and everything Caleb did in a positive fashion last year was done at the tail end of games in the third and fourth quarter when they're playing from behind, because he was 3 and out, 3 and out, 3 and out, over and over and over, getting sacked, good offensive line production. The Bears had a good pass protecting offensive line last year. Matt O's on the phone. Matt O, your bold prediction is bold. It would win, probably, if you get it right. Injury, the thing that you're going to have a problem with is if JD5 gets hurt, then no one's going to want to vote your prediction correct, because they're going to be like, of course it won. You know what I mean? So you got to be careful. Like almost like, say, top 5 QB and outscores JD5 or something that way. If JD5 gets hurt, you can still win. Hopefully it doesn't, nothing happens. So go ahead, Matt O, you're live.
If we can make it parentheses of non-injury related, I'm okay with that.
Yeah, but you're not going to win. You're not going to win though. So I'm saying if you threw in something else like top 4 quarterback in fantasy and outscores JD5, then you're going to win even if JD5 was to miss games or something.
Okay.
Okay. So whatever. Well, no. What do you want it to be? What do you want? You don't have to do anything to it either. I'm just letting you know.
Yeah,
but
let's let it ride.
Let it ride. Do
scared money don't make money.
Yeah. You mean top 4 or top 5?
Let's do top 5.
Okay, top 5. All right. Go ahead and explain yourself with your prediction here.
Oh, I'm just such a huge Bears fan and wanted to give Caleb an opportunity.
Okay.
Look, I got to go clear back to, I was a Fields guy first, 100% a Fields guy. I wanted Fields all the time. I did not want him to leave, but out of my wheelhouse, I don't get to run the show, so I'm okay with. Look, they picked Caleb. I'm gonna stick by him and see how it goes. If he fails, he fails. But I really, really like what they're doing. If they take Genty, great. If they don't and just keep going the line, great. But there's you have so many Bears fans, and we get beat up all the time, and we love you, Smitty. I don't think. It's like, you know what? I'm gonna do it.
Yeah, and I'm sorry if I always beat up on your Bears. You're not gonna go offensive line now. You know, what are you going to do?
Probably not.
You got
the
to
only thing I worry
tackle.
about-
You got both tackles. You got both guards. You got a center. So you don't need to go offensive line. This is why Genty's probably the pick. And Ben Johnson, like, you couldn't telegraph this any more than Ben Johnson's telegraphing it. You know, it is going to be Ashton Genty pick. He took Gibbs higher than anybody. Well, the Bears did, but he wanted Gibbs badly, and he wanted Gibbs higher than anybody in there, except for this channel, was probably willing to pay. If we were on the clock as a unit, we would have drafted Gibbs probably higher. But he drafted Gibbs. He loves Gibbs, and Genty plays very much like him. Genty's a Gibbs meets Alvin Kamara meets a whole bunch of other players. He's one of the hardest players to comp because he has traits from so many different players. But look, this offensive line with Genty, really last year's offensive line with Genty would be good just because the offensive line played better than people think. Everyone looks at Caleb being the most sacked quarterback in the league and they say the offensive line was garbage. This offensive line sucks. It was top 10 in pass blocking. Top 10. That's a problem. That's a problem. That's a quarterback problem. But hey, let me say this.
They rebuilt it.
Let me say this. I think that Ben Johnson probably knows what the deficiencies are for Caleb, and if anybody can get the best out of him, it will be Ben Johnson. Let me also say this. Is Goff any better than Caleb? No. Is Caleb any better than Goff? No. They're about the same to me. I think, and if anybody's going to complain about that and say, what our precious next Patrick Mahomes, Caleb Williams? Look, Goff is effective. Goff has been very effective. The Lions are in the mix every year now. The Lions are a top 8 team in the National Football League under Goff's command. We'll see what happens without Ben Johnson, too. So if I call Caleb Goff, you should be excited and elated as a Bears fan. So if Goff can look as mundane as Goff is, if he can look good under Ben Johnson, then so can Caleb. I'm literally telling you that Ben Johnson could make Caleb look Jared Goff-like. If this offensive line plays the way that the expectation will be, if they draft Genty, he'll have a lot of room and breathing room finally, but he'll have to play in structure. He'll have to learn to play in structure. He never played in structure in college. Or I shouldn't say never, but he was always outside the pocket. And he didn't play well in structure in the NFL during his rookie year. And the problem is you're building this entire offense to be designed. Justin Fields is signing with the Jets. Justin Fields is signing with the Jets.
Yep, good.
He's doing it.
Good.
He's doing it. He's doing it.
Let him cook.
He's doing it, and he's doing it live. He's doing it live. Good for Justin. Good for Justin.
Yep.
Don't take any shit from Tomlin.
Pittsburgh.
He says, no, Tomlin, you won't control me. You won't control me. I'm going to the New York Jets to throw to Garrett Wilson. I'm going to the New York Jets where I can turn Garrett Wilson into my DJ Moore. DJ Moore is a top 5 to 7 wide receiver in Chicago. When Justin Fields was able to even throw a little bit in Pittsburgh, they dialed him back. Ben Roethlisberger said today on ESPN that he heard Arthur Smith totally dialed back Fields. When Fields got in there, he just totally took away the playbook from him. That's why he's running constantly. This man is going to thrive. And all you Fields haters are going to see this team. Look, I told you when Aaron Glenn took over that this is a different vibe. This is a culture problem in New York. Devontae Adams was traded over to New York, and he said when he got there he couldn't believe his eyes. These guys didn't even root for each other. They didn't cheer for each other. The defense didn't even care about the offense. The offense didn't care about the defense. The defense would get a fumble recovery, and the offense would just slowly put their helmet on. They didn't give a shit about what anybody was doing. And so there's no camaraderie. There was no culture. This is blamed on Robert Saleh, who let Aaron Rodgers run everything. And what does Aaron Glenn do? Comes in and says, look, I know Devontae Adams is a good player, but he gone. He gone. Aaron Rodgers, he gone. Everybody's gone. I'm cleaning house. I'm making this a youth movement. We're building from the ground up. We're going back to the roots of what this team was before Aaron Rodgers, and what Aaron Rodgers decided to be the case infected it. Okay, and I love Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers probably goes to the Steelers now if Russell Wilson doesn't. It's between those two. So far, the board predictions have been pretty good. So we got Pittsburgh with the Russ or A-Rod. We got Fields to the Jets. That is confirmed. Boom. Darnold to the Seahawks. That is confirmed. Giants trade up for the number 1 pick to get Ward. We'll see how that plays out. Dart, I think, still goes to Seattle. So far, so good on the board. Okay, so I really think this is a fantastic move by the New York Football Jets. They couldn't have got a better quarterback if they tried. Better than Darnold. He's better than Aaron Rodgers. He might even be better than Matthew Stafford, even in year, this 2025 season, but mainly because you can build around this still young player, and the Jets are a young team. And the quarterback is now included in that. You don't have a senior citizen trying to babysit all the youngins. This is a team that Aaron Glenn is going to strip the identity away and then rebuild it. And so Aaron Glenn reminds me a lot of, man, I trying to think of the right coach. I think Vrabel's going to do the same thing for your Patriots as well. Just literally strip the logo, the numbers off the uniforms in a literal sense and say we are a team, we are a unit, we're going to support each other, and we're going to go get our future. We're going to repair this man Justin Fields. This is awesome. This is the best news we could have got all day. This is great.
It's a good point too that Fields played with Garrett Wilson at Ohio State, so there's a little rapport there. And someone was asking in the chat, Michael, about how it affects Breece Hall. I think it's good. I think it's going to be a really, fun, athletic, dynamic offense if they get the right guy coaching that offense in there, if they can harness that talent.
Yeah.
A guy like Malachi Corley gets interesting too, with that athleticism and Fields being able to run and opening things up.
Yeah, it's going to be really, really interesting. I think the Jets aren't done. They still got a lot of work to do, but, making sure that Fields is revived, repaired, rejuvenated, and confident, I think is the most important thing. But there's no coach I can think of better than Aaron Glenn, who's going to surround this man with defense. And when you surround him with defense and you give him that support, that field position, you give him Garrett Wilson. Garrett Wilson's going to love Justin Fields. And then now you have the similar effect in a way of what we talked about with Kyron Williams, where you add a dynamic piece to the Rams offense, and Kupp wasn't last year, regardless of why. Even if he does well elsewhere, he wasn't. And so it was a one-dimensional passing attack in LA last year, which is why they fell short at the end of the day in the playoffs. But if you've got Puka and you've got Adams, and Adams is almost commanding more defensive respect than Puka, even though Puka's earned it, and he's younger, better right now. Puka's better than Adams is right now. But Adams is such a veteran, and he's so smart, and his route running, he could be the best possession receiver still in the National Football League if he wants, even though he's lost maybe a little step. So you got this defense spread out a little more than normal whenever you're on the field as a Rams unit, and now Kyron's just going to knife through much more open rushing lanes, and Kyron's going to thrive. I think Breece Hall struggled a lot last year because their field position, the game script, the flow of draft, whenever he was fed, he did well, but then he'd go and not get fed. Having Fields, the mobility of Fields is going to make it essentially impossible to cover Garrett Wilson the same way. To cover, even if you take Devontae Adams back off the roster, this is a very dynamic offense, and spying Justin Fields, making sure you know where he's at all times. Breece Hall being able to catch the football, line up as a wide receiver, line up in the slot, catch the ball in the flat, get those dump offs, and not only that, but have just a little bit more wider and more open rushing lanes, because this man is keeping defenses honest. This is the greatest move of the day. This was yesterday. The Adams thing was pretty exciting. This is today's big news. Justin Fields is a New York Jet. And what did I say at the beginning of the show? or right when Darnold broke, that's going to shove this one right into the forefront. As soon as Darnold domino dropped, the Jets were going to say, look, let's get this done, because if not, we got to go. We just got one person off the board. We got to go talk to Aaron Rodgers. And Fields was like, done. Not going to push my luck anymore.
Wonder if Steelers get the Rodgers deal done soon.
Yeah. I think Aaron Rodgers is weird, though. He's the kind of guy you could walk up to and go, hey, the Steelers are either signing you or Russell Wilson by 5 p.m. And he'd be like, whatever ends up happening. I'm gonna go get a bite. and you're like, come on, bro. This is like the guy that offers you the trade offer, and then he's like, well, I'll look at it later tonight, and then never cares. But this is crazy. Fields, for all you Fields haters, look, I'm not gonna get too hard on you today and just say, have an open mind, because the one thing I'll say to you Fields haters is that Fields was again not supported properly in especially Pittsburgh. Like, even though he was 4-2 when he was the starter, he was supported less in Pittsburgh than he was in Chicago, because in Chicago at least they finally gave him DJ Moore, and he turned DJ Moore into a top 5 to 7 wide receiver depending on your scoring. In Pittsburgh, they took the playbook away from him, and they said, run the ball, short passes, run the ball. And it was so unfair to literally just be having Fields play, knowing that you're waiting for Russell Wilson to get healthy. Did Fields earn the starting job this week, Tomlin? No, I'm not going to comment on that. And the moment that Russell Wilson was ready, he yanked Fields out, plugged Russell in, and the confidence was shattered there. And he is broken, and there's no guarantee that he is fixable here. I just think we're not past the point of no return. I think he's a confident guy, and I think that the fact that he was 4-2, he didn't end on a bad note. He ended on the rug was pulled out from under him. Maybe he has some trust issues, but I don't know that his confidence is shattered, because he finished 4-2, and he finished playing well. And so it's not like he ended it on a bad note. So, and on top of that, when they needed big plays and they had, short yardage situations, they bring Fields back in the game and run him instead of Russell Wilson. So, he does have some confidence still there. And again, Aaron Glenn is such a hard-nosed, defensive-minded, no-nonsense, get rid of Adams and Aaron Rodgers, we're starting over mentality. I think Fields is going to look at him like a father figure, and I think he's going to be really good for Justin Fields. I think Aaron Glenn, even though Aaron Glenn's not the quarterback whisperer, he's not Shane Steichen, he's not Brian Dable. He is a you could say like a Sirianni meets Campbell type of leader that he's going to trust in. And I think I think everyone's going to trust in Aaron Glenn. I think they're going to follow this man like the Lions kind of followed Campbell. We'll see this year how it goes, but Campbell could crumble a little bit this year. I'm not going to lie. I love the Lions. I love me some Jahmyr Gibbs and some St. Brown and J-Mo Williams all day long, but I am a little bit in Laporta. I'm just a little worried about Ben Johnson leaving. We saw what happened when Shane Steichen left the Philadelphia Eagles after a very successful year, and then the Eagles took a step back, and then they had to regroup, and then they finally brought in Kellen Moore, and now they're now Kellen Moore's gone again, so we'll see what the Eagles do. But what a freaking day. Hold on one second, Travis. Let me go over to Colin because he's been waiting a while, and then I'll go back over to Matto, then back to Travis. But go ahead, Travis, see if you had one real quick thing.
Well, just on Fields, I was just going to say, even in the 6 games he played, not playing in an offense catered to him, for fantasy, he was still a top 12 quarterback 3 out of the 6 weeks.
Yeah.
He was quarterback 1, quarterback 7, quarterback 12, 3 out of those 6 weeks. So now that he has an offense catered to him, you're going to see a lot. Big improvement fantasy-wise, too.
Yeah. Colin, go ahead. You're live.
Hey, just on the Seahawks wide receiver room, do you think they for sure address something for them in the offseason, whether it's developing talent through drafting or signing a free agent, or are we sending good old Jake Bobo to the moon there?
I think that they're going to do something for sure. Do I think that Bobo will be good? He could. But I think that's going to be one of those things where he's the popular name of the day, and people are going to be like, oh, he's going to be great. And then all it takes is one drafting, one signing, and he's nothing. Look at Whittington. Whittington was an awesome prospect. And I admit that kind of pulled at my heartstrings a little bit when Whittington was, all of a sudden, it was a 2-year, $40 million deal for Justin Fields. How much of it is guaranteed?
I think it was 30.
Yeah, $30 million guaranteed. $30 million guaranteed. That's great. I think like I said, Seattle, a lot of teams, the Niners, the Seahawks, there's a lot of teams that I think could look to Keenan Allen, providing some veteran leadership, and Amari Cooper, I think, has still got a lot left in the tank. So we'll see. Yeah, I got it on here too. $30 million guaranteed. It's on this graphic right here. Yeah, wow. Look, good for Fields, man. $30 million. And I know this isn't the deal, and this also kind of kicks Brock Purdy's deal in the nutsack.
Yeah.
Because I know everyone's going to say Brock's so much better than Fields, but he's not. He's not, hate to put your earmuffs on, Niner fans, but if I could press a button to trade Brock Purdy for Fields in this Jets situation, I wouldn't press it. I want Fields in a Jets uniform over Brock Purdy. That might be really hard for some of you Niner fans to hear, but that's how much I like Fields. I don't think Brock Purdy is the next elite quarterback. He showed it last year that he wasn't when things weren't perfect, when he didn't have... Look, you give Fields Christian McCaffrey, Debo in his prime, Ayuk when he's popping off, George Kittle in his prime, Trent Williams in an offensive line like Purdy had that year. Anybody's playing good football. And then when things aren't like that, things aren't going perfectly to plan, then Brock Purdy plays like Brock Purdy played last year. So stop with the whole Brock Purdy's better than Fields, Brock Purdy's better than Goff, Brock Purdy's better than this and that. Like Justin Fields, I would not trade Justin Fields for Brock Purdy straight up. I would not. And Fields getting $30 million guaranteed, $40 million, 2-year deal. I don't think Brock's getting 45 anymore, maybe. I don't know. He probably will because they offered it, but if I'm the Niners, I might take it back. Because the market changed, man. Today's price isn't yesterday's price, and that means in the reverse direction this time. All right, hold on. Let me go over to Colin. Colin, you're live.
Yeah, that was everything I had. I appreciate your time, Smitty.
Okay, thanks, Colin. Appreciate you, bro. Matt O, did you have anything else? You can stay on the line if you want. I just want to make sure.
I'm kind of looking for Mr. Ron Navy to pop in. I'm just sitting here pondering the poor Steelers. And now they have to choose between a 1974 Gremlin and a 1982 Pinto to try to move forward and trying to figure out, with this 21 pick, do we try to go quarterback? I feel just horrible for him. He's probably at home just sitting there.
No, he called in yesterday, and he doesn't even care, bro. He's very much.
That's where he's at.
Yeah, he very much. He liked DK. He thought that was a good situation, but no, I think he's okay with Aaron Rodgers. I don't think he was really super high on, getting Darnold or anything. I think he'll be all right. But what do you think about Justin Fields in New York?
I just have Lamar and Henry vibes all over it. And then just go look at G. Will's stats when Fields, or go look at DJ Moore's stats when he played with Fields, and that's what you're going to get for G. Will.
Yeah, had a baby. Yeah, I think this is great. And even if, let's say, Fields doesn't play top 8 or 7 fantasy football type football, I still think he plays great NFL football in this situation. I'm so excited about this for the New York Jets. New York Jets fans got to be elated right now. Just absolutely elated. This is fantastic news.
There's going to be games too where he just is going to just take over and run, right? Just like we saw him do in Chicago a few years ago. You're like, oh my gosh, this is fantasy gold. It's going to happen again.
Yeah, people don't realize that he ran for 1,100 yards in Chicago with no wide receivers, and it was a phenomenal thing to see. All right, hang tight, Matto. You can jump back in a second. Bruce, you're live.
Hey, Smitty, do you
What
think
up?
this creates a tripod in New York?
I think, yeah, that is a tripod. Fields, Brees Hall, Garrett Wilson. You're correct. You stand correct, sir. It's not a quad pod, but it's a tripod for sure. Yeah, I mean, it's going to be one of the more dynamic ones too, because you got that running quarterback. Brees Hall returns to form. Garrett Wilson probably returns to form. I'm not sure how I feel about Garrett Wilson yet. I'm like in terms of like how high I rank him, but it's definitely on the up. Like if Garrett Wilson becomes a second round kind of like fun player to grab now, whereas before we were kind of like unsure, where do we grab Garrett Wilson? Does he fall to the freaking third round? And then even then you were like, do I like him more than this guy? And now it's like Garrett Wilson in the second round. I mean, that's pretty good. It feels really solid. I'm excited, man. Garrett Wilson to the freaking moon, man. This is great news for Garrett Wilson truthers and believers and Dynasty owners. I mean, I got Garrett Wilson in a couple Dynasty leagues, man, and I got to tell you that this news makes me extremely excited.
I was wondering. I was like, oh man. I was like, I'm looking at it, and I'm looking at it at two different. I'm looking at it from the tripod angle of would I rather have Fields, ETN, and Walker, or would I rather have Fields, Hall, and Wilson? I'm kind of looking at
Fields, ETN, and what?
Fields, ETN, and Wilson.
Yeah, I don't know. Fields, ETN, and then who else? Fields, ETN, and Wilson, and who else?
I could have Darnold. We have Darnold, Jackson, Smith, and Nigga, or
and Jigba. Spit it out, Brucey. Spit it out, Brucey. Come on, you can do it.
Jackson, Smith, and Nigba, or
Jigba.
Walker.
Okay, I don't know. That's tough. All right, hey, let's go. Phone lines are open. Dial in. They got disagreeing Carl. Bruce, don't go anywhere. And by the way, it's Miss Robeson's birthday today. Baked in boys, creator. That's Miss Robeson, Bruce's mom. So everybody wish Miss Robeson a happy birthday. Let me go over to disagreeing Carl. Bruce, mute yourself real quickly, and I'll be right back to you. Go ahead, disagreeing Carl. You're live. We got 427 YouTubers in here. Hit the thumb up button and subscribe if you're new. Go ahead, disagreeing Carl. Talk about Fields. Talk about Darnold. Let's go.
Pretty awesome day of free agency so far. So
Yeah.
I'm currently in a Dynasty startup, and my best options are Anthony Richardson, Justin Fields, Sam Darnold, Geno Smith, and DK Metcalf. Who do you think I should draft? I don't have any quarterbacks at the moment.
How many? Okay, so say it again. Fields,
All right, so
Darnold.
I'm on the clock in a Dynasty startup,
Yeah.
super flex. I don't have any quarterbacks yet. Never mind DK, but I got a AR-15. He's available. Fields is available. Geno's available, and Darnold's available.
I think I'd go Fields.
So that's the best option.
I think I'd go Fields. If it's super flex, yeah. If it's not super flex, I will wait. But super flex. Now, what running backs and wide receivers are there? I just want to make sure we're not passing up on a unbelievable opportunity to get somebody else in there and then still get Fields later. But the quarterbacks are going to fly off the board, and this news will probably make somebody trigger happy on Fields. So you'll probably want to grab them. But what wide receivers and running backs are available? Hello? Okay. I don't know. He's gone. Matto, what else you thinking here, pal?
I don't have a whole lot. Just I do worry about the Bears getting Genty. I don't know that he's going to last. I really think the Raiders are going to scoop him up. But we'll see.
Yeah. Travis, what next domino drops? Aaron Rodgers to the Steelers?
I
I think so. Like you said, you never know with Rodgers. Rodgers could just say, I'm just going to wait a little longer. Who cares? But I think it probably will, only because, realistically, where else is he going to go? I mean, he could go to the Giants, Cleveland, Tennessee. Like, I'd rather be with the Steelers if I was him.
Yeah. If I had to guess on for a couple of you wondering about like my prediction on Justin Fields, I don't know if I would say Justin Fields is somebody you're gonna draft to start on 1 QB. I'm not saying he can't be. I'm just saying that I'm typically somebody that's drafting an early quarterback. I'm typically someone that's going after Mahomes, Josh Allen, Jalen Hurts, JD5, and I have one of those guys, and especially with Mahomes falling to like the 6th and 7th round, which is ridiculous. It's hard, but to have this guy as your second quarterback in a 1 QB is dangerous. To have this guy as your super flex second quarterback is dangerous. The super flex implications from a Fields only perspective are tremendous, and this adds another monster super flex quarterback to the QB pool. If I was going to go Fields as my starter, I would have him in a rotation with Dak Prescott, who's also going in double-digit rounds. Dak and Fields would be one of the most dangerous late quarterback strategies you could deploy. That would be fantastic. So if anybody's looking for a 1 QB league late quarterback strategy, go get Fields and Dak Prescott, and you won't have to spend a single, it'll be double-digit round picks for both of them. And if in Superflex, hard to know where Fields will slot, because quarterbacks will fly off the board, but I don't know. I wonder what round that guy was in. He said DK, so he's probably like around 5 or probably in 6 or 7 or something like that. But he's lucky that this news broke now while he's on the clock, because I think if he started his draft over today, Fields would go 2 rounds like earlier. Man, I don't know. I don't know where Fields would go in a Superflex. I bet you he's a 4th or 5th round pick, probably. Which it makes it great for my strategy, which is when you're drafting the Superflex, go quarterback in the top 5, 6, 7. No matter what, in round 1, you're grabbing one of those guys. Then you get back to normal non-quarterback drafting until you get to the point where you grab Fields, you grab that quarterback like that can be your second that people are doubting a little bit. So if you can come away with in a Superflex going quarterback like Jalen Hurts, let's say in round 1, or Josh Allen or JD5, and then you go with a freaking Neighbors in round 2 because he's almost falling to round 2 in a 1 QB, and Superflex Neighbors lives in round 2. You go Josh Allen, Neighbors, Breece Hall, Kyren Fields. You're going to the moon. And Kyren is going now. It depends where you're drafting on Kyren. Kyren goes in round 1, 2 turn in grandma leagues, in home leagues, and work leagues where people don't study until August for football. In best ball, competitive 2025, like now thinking, Kyren's in the 3rd round. So it's almost like, and I mean this, I don't mean this the way it's coming out, but I kind of do at the same time. It's almost like the smarter people or the less educated people on the ADPs and the values. Like the people, it's almost like wearing a mullet too long. It comes back in style because you never cut it. You didn't really do anything good. You just never cut it, and now mullets are back. And now you got a mullet. And people are like, bro, nice cut. And you're like, really? Woo! And you're sporting a mullet. That's the same thing here. It's like grandmas in your work league, they're drafting Kyren where he belongs, and he might return to that 1st to 2nd round turn. But it's like the more educated people are the ones missing the boat and drafting Kyren in best ball on underdog in the 3rd round. It makes no sense at all. Kyren does not deserve to be in round 3. And if you want to partake in this, if you're like Smitty, I haven't seen that. I can't imagine that. Click this link and do a draft. Kyren's got a 3rd round ADP. It's not even close either. It's not like he's the 24-25 pick like Bucky. Bucky's going 24, 25, 26. Kyren's going in the middle of round 3. Sometimes at the tail end, you could almost get Kyren at the 3-4 bookend on best ball underdog. Code Smitty. Hit that link. Fields, man. Hufanga to Denver. Is that confirmed? I stopped like refreshing constantly because I had to talk about Fields and everything. Hufanga. Jeez.
De'Ami Brown just went to the Jaguars.
Okay, that's all right.
Nick Mullins to the Jaguars to back up.
Nick Mullins.
Samaje Perine to the Bank. Yeah. Samaje Perine to the Bengals. That could be good for Chase Brown. I mean, I don't think it stops him from drafting the running back.
Who went to the Bengals?
More body.
Who went to the Bengals?
Perine.
Oh yeah.
Perine.
Yeah, that is good. That is really good. That is an indication.
Another body in there.
That is a strong indication that the team is maybe saying when we get to the draft, we'll maybe draft someone that can compete with him. So that's good. Perine's a good player. He knows the system. He's been in Cincinnati before. Perine's a good player, but he's not a threat. He's a good pass catcher.
The De'Ami Brown move too may mean they're not planning on going after like Ted McMillan in the draft, which would be good for BTJ.
Yeah, Hufanga 3-year, $45 million deal, $20 million guaranteed.
Josh Palmer to the Bills, 3 years, $36 million.
God, I don't hate it. I don't hate it, but I don't agree with the number. The number's stupid.
Another non-elite stud wide receiver.
Yeah,
it's just a good wide receiver. I mean, just.
I feel like the freaking Bills just don't get it, man. The other thing too is like I don't know why are these quarterbacks like Josh Allen not more vocal, and why do they have no control? Like even Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers is such a what's the right word? Control freak, and he speaks his mind, and he still did that in Green Bay, but not in terms of like he didn't say I want decision making. Maybe that's why he kind of went overboard in New York, like trying to control everything, because he finally got control and he was like getting away with murder. But it's like. Why would Josh Allen not be the one to say, look, I just signed a $55 million per year deal instead of 60 so that we could go get somebody, and you go get Joshua Palmer? And maybe Josh Allen thought this was a good idea. It's hard to know. But, I mean, really? You're telling me that, Devontae Adams wasn't worth, like, overpaying to get him into a Buffalo Bill uniform? You're telling me that Cooper Kupp, maybe still go get Cooper Kupp, but you're telling me Cooper Kupp isn't worth a shot over this character? And I like Joshua Palmer. I think he's a good player, but he's no better than anything they got at all. Like, you don't even know Shakir or Palmer's better than one another. And I like Shakir. I'm not trying to say Shakir isn't good, but Shakir's not an elite player. And Keon Coleman, maybe this is good for Keon Coleman. Maybe Keon Coleman, we got to remember how much we liked him.
Yeah.
Maybe this is a sign that they really want to develop him. He could take a huge, big step forward, but part of me's, concerned that they don't even value wide receiver at all anymore. This is wild to me.
Coleman. Hopefully that's a good time for Coleman and like Kincaid. Even when Kincaid was healthy, they weren't throwing. I mean, he was leading the team in targets, but like he was getting like 5 or 6 targets a game. It's like they just want to spread the ball around. And to me, like when you have a guy like Allen, go and get him that stud. Like. You haven't been able to get over the hump many years. Like, get him those weapons.
Travis is a feel like the Belichick wide receivers. Like, never really got, other than Randy Moss, but just kind of never really that elite guy. Yeah. And they're just trying to find plug and plays where they can. I don't know.
It feels like that, it's got to be frustrating.
Yeah, it's crazy. Go ahead, Bruce.
I'm friends with a couple NFL players.
Smitty.
Yeah.
My buddy is.
Go ahead,
his
Bruce.
brother is one. But some players are kind of like, this could be a Josh Allen, which I don't care what you give me. I just care about my money. Maybe he's not going in there like an Aaron Rodgers saying, I want this. And he's just like, just pay me. You sign the front of the check, I sign the back of it.
Yeah, but the thing is, Josh Allen very much, decided to go 55 instead of 60 so that they could build. And it's just weird that Josh Allen's okay with this, So we got Sweat, Josh Sweat to the Cardinals. $76 million deal per Adam Schefter.
Yeah, I'd be happy about that, Smitty.
4 years. Yeah, that's really good. That's really good. I mean, anything that helps the Cardinals' field position is what I want. Like, I'm not worried about. I don't need Genti in Arizona. We already have Benson, who I hope to God we use properly at some point.
Yeah.
So I don't want anything else added to the Cardinals, but field position help so that MHJ can live near the goal line a little closer because MHJ needs the damn ball. So this is good news. So sweat to the Cardinals on a $76 million deal, 4 years. That is crazy. Cardinals are kind of quiet, and now they make a big splash. You got to love that. There's a lot going down today. It seemed like it was going to drag a little bit, and then now things are kind of picking up, and I can't even keep up when I refresh all my alerts. I got so much going on. We got the Bills reaching an agreement with Joshua Palmer, as I just mentioned, on a $36 million deal, $18 million guaranteed with the Buffalo Bills. Again, we're just talking about how kind of disappointing that is because this team is it's just they just don't seem like they have the urgency to fill the wide receiver room. And hold on, let me go through these super chats because they've been sitting here. 1 second, guys. BBQ, $5 hauler. Rodgers to the Steelers would fit Tomlin. Wash QBs and their legacy over reality. I think that does seem to be pretty in line with what most people think. I think BBQ. So, how does this affect Garrett Wilson's dynasty value? It's tremendous. If you don't like Fields, then you're not going to like it. If you like Fields, then you're going to love it. It's not a move that I think everyone's going to agree with, and that's part of fantasy football. It's part of the NFL. It's part of being a fan. It's part of anything. And I think that Justin Fields, as I've touted all offseason and all of last year, is a top 10 to 12 quarterback in the National Football League. I just think he hasn't had the right situation, the right coaching, the right confidence, the right everything. And again, any keyboard warrior that says, Justin Fields is a first-read quarterback only, Justin Fields isn't accurate, go look at his time in Chicago. Go look at what he did in Pittsburgh. It's no offense, but it's a lazy take. It's not an educated take because there's explanation for everything. Arthur Smith, they took his playbook away. Of course he's first read. Of course he's running pretty much every time. In Chicago, they took away his entire team, not just his receiver room. They dismantled the defense, which hurts the offense. They dismantled the offense, and Fields had no one to throw to, and he resorted to running for 1,100 yards that year. Ryan Poles almost broke him. He injured his knee that year because he had to carry the team on his back. So it depends if you like Fields. If you don't like Fields, fine. I don't care. I'm not going to convince you. Do what you want. Not you, Aaron or Amon. I'm just saying other people. That hate Fields or whatever. Hate him all you want. Good. Go do it by yourself. What's up, Smitty? Crazy unofficial free agency so far. Who do you see being QB for the Steelers? Aaron Rodgers, Hassan. Thank you for the super chat. Aaron Rodgers or Russell Wilson will be the quarterback of the Pittsburgh Steelers. One or the other. And Russell's dying for it, so he's waiting, just waiting. You don't have to worry about him going anywhere. He's just sitting there at the facility, twiddling his thumbs, waiting for the call. Fields or AR5 in Dynasty Superflex? Fields by a country mile. And I hate to say that, and I know that we would have laughed at ourselves if we were in the past asking ourselves that question. But it is what it is, man. And, I think Fields is in a great situation. AR5 might not even be starting by the end of the year. If not, what if they trade him and he becomes a backup somewhere? That could go badly. Let me go around to Baxter. Baxter, you're live, pal. What can I do for you?
Hey, Smitty, what's up?
What's up, pal?
Well, first thing I was going to say is I think P. Ryan went to the Bucs, not the Bengals.
P. Ryan, did he?
No, that was shot down. It came out that he went to the Bucs for 3 years, $22 million. And the Bucs came out and said no, that didn't happen. And then he just signed with the Bengals.
That's my bad.
Yeah.
No, you're good.
Yeah, no, just on Justin Fields, I think this is just huge for his confidence, honestly.
Hell yeah.
In his NFL career, he hasn't really had any team any team that really believes in him. You know, the Jets had a lot of options at quarterback. This not a lot, but they had options. They could have gone with Dart. They could have gone with Aaron Rodgers again, but they specifically chose Fields. I just think it's huge for his confidence.
Yeah, and he's never had a defense with the offensive weapons and the freedom. You know, so he was in Chicago, he had nothing. He had the freedom, but he had nothing. And then when he went to Pittsburgh, he didn't have the freedom. He didn't really even have the weapons, because the freedom and weapons go hand in hand. But he had the opportunity. It just, none of it lined up. And it was almost like a parent playing obvious favoritism in front of the whole world. You know, hey, Russell, my baby. Russell Wilson, my baby. You poor baby. When are you going to get in the lineup? And Fields is like, here, the good son. You're like doing everything right, doing everything better. You know, taking care of his father better. And then you've got the spoiled kid, you know, Russell Wilson, that's just being held up on this pedestal. You know, it's crazy, you know, and I think the whole world saw it. And that's why Tomlin, even though Tomlin's got a winning record and Tomlin has been such a good regular season coach and all that, and the whole world, you know, strokes his ego and everybody acts like he's such a good coach. You know, it's crazy that people don't, you know, more people don't see through what I think a lot of people are. That Tomlin is got a good skill of winning regular season games and building a good foundation and a team that can get it done. But the problem is, like San Francisco, like Kyle Shanahan, those things can only take you so far. Like when you have to make tough decisions, like who to keep in your lineup, and your team can crawl to a Super Bowl, or I'm sorry, to a playoff appearance, but not, you know, close it out when things get tough and play against the best teams at the best moments and win consecutive games over and over and over. Tomlin crumbles. Tomlin doesn't make good decisions. Tomlin's not making. He's even proving he made horrible decisions last year when they're not bringing Russell Wilson back right now. They tried to get Justin Fields first, and what's that tell you? That Tomlin royally screwed up last year. So, you know, Fields will be the most fun player to root for because of how many haters there are out there. I love that people don't understand how good he could be. I love it. It makes me happy. It makes me smile. It makes me feel good. It makes me want to root for him. You know, and then I see comments like, where's the one where it says, you know, you guys think he's going to a good team? Where is that at? Let me see if I can find it. You all acting like he's going to a good team now. Tommy, this is the same thing people said about the Washington Commanders last year. You're all acting like the Washington Commanders have been able to block for JD5. They won't be able to block for JD5. And what did I tell you, Tommy? That having JD5 in the lineup alone improved the Commanders' offensive line tenfold. Just by JD5 showing up. Just by Justin Fields walking onto the field, the Jets' offensive line doubles in production and efficiency. Just by walking on the field. Because you'll never see the same defensive scheme ever again with Justin Fields under center versus Aaron Rodgers. Right there and then, your offensive line production doubles. At least. Breece Hall's holes and the gaps open at least this much just by Justin Fields being on the field. Everything is better, enhanced. And you can hate Justin Fields all you want. You can make fun of the Jets all you want, Tommy, but they're doing work. And this guy, Aaron Glenn, is a hard-nosed coach that's going to build from the ground up, and he's going to install defense. The defense will set up the run. He's going to run the hell out of the ball. They're not going to lean on Justin Fields even as much as they could because of the balance that Aaron Glenn will want to deploy. And that's going to make Justin Fields better. So he is going to a good team. The foundation of the Jets is good. And guess what? It got ruined. The culture got ruined by Robert Saleh, who let Aaron Rodgers dictate everything. And as much as I've been a fan of Aaron Rodgers, and I have over the years, and I hate how people hate him, he was not good for the New York Jets. He ended up being a very toxic character and over-polarizing figure that didn't allow this team to be its natural self. And Aaron Glenn got rid of everything, all the remnants of Aaron Rodgers, the Lazard, the Devontae Adams move, like everything was undone. It was almost like he went back to a previous version and restored it and said, we're going back to this version, we're going to build off that, because that's where the foundation wasn't cracked. You can't build a house on top of faulty foundation. It can be the best house in the entire world. Aaron Rodgers could have the best cannon in the world, the best mind in the world, but if the foundation is cracked, the house will crumble. And that's what happened in New York. Fields is going to be a breath of fresh air, and New York is going to be a breath of fresh air for Fields. It's going to be a reciprocation, and this guy is going to love the culture, love the spotlight, love the market, and it's going to be gritty football. The New York Jets are back. The New York Jets are back.
Let him cook.
Baxter, you got anything else before I bump you off the line here?
Yeah, well, I just want to go off that, and this opens up the draft for the Jets. You know, now they can go with their first round pick, and they can draft defense, build through the defense. And other than that, I just want to know what you think about Seattle. What do you think about Seattle's moves? They got Darnold, they got a second and third added to their draft through Geno and DK. So, what do you think about Seattle?
Yeah, you know what I think about Seattle? I don't know if you guys feel the same way about this, but the way I feel about Seattle is the way I think we all felt about the Jaguars last year. You know, I think it's going to be all about the targets will be there for JSN. He'll get fed like crazy. Are they going to be a winning team? I don't know. I think they'll be an interesting team. Do I think they'll be a bad team? No, but will they be a good team? I don't think so, but we'll see. All it takes is like a couple more moves, and we could all get really, really amped up and excited about what's going on. But it does feel a lot like it's going to be just a how much can you feed JSN? Can they get the run game going? Charbonnet and Walker, do they both stay on the roster? It's possible one gets traded. It really is. I think it would be smart to trade one of them, to be honest with you. I think because if you don't have the pieces to make this a team that's better than the Jacksonville Jaguars were last year. So if they can take DK Metcalf, turn that into something, right, which they're hoping to do, take Walker, as much as we love him, or Charbonnet, as much as we love him, we want one of them starting elsewhere. It's kind of a selfish request, but trade one of them and try and figure out how to beef up something else. But it really will all come down to Darnold. If Darnold can be the same kind of player he was in Minnesota without the Minnesota offense and coaching staff, then things are going to be pretty good. But will they be great? Probably not. I think it'll be a year where if they draft Jackson Dart, it'll be all about, like, when's that going to happen? If they don't take Jackson Dart and Darnold doesn't really play the way you want, but he's not bad, it's just going to be a mediocre team.
I think it's like every team can't have a top 5 quarterback, top 10 quarterback even. And so they upgrade the quarterback for not much more money, and, so they're able to compete a little more maybe while looking for that future top 5 to 10 QB that every team is always searching for. And that's what most of the league has to do, is figure out a way to get there and get that guy, because those guys are few and far between.
I mean, you got to think that Kenneth Walker, he's got some market value, I think. Electric player. Somebody's going to be, interested, but the question will be, is he even worth giving up if you're only going to get like some crazy bad draft pick? And, I don't think he's going to get something crazy. So hard to say, but I would love to see him elsewhere. Put Kenneth Walker like in Dallas, or, trade him to, I mean, there's a couple places that would be good. Raiders would be interesting. Yeah, I don't know. Tough to say, but when you do think about it, it's like Walker, Charbonnet, JSN and Darnold is still a lot of weapons, you know? Like, I know losing DK, you think, but they weren't even using DK right anyway. Like, and if they're going to go to a balanced attack, they probably still wouldn't, you know, or JSN and DK would just eat into each other's workload. So the fact that they're going to, under Kubiak, run the ball more, be more balanced, and be a good running team with a good passing attack, maybe kind of back to the Pete Carroll type of, you know, balance where it's like 2 wide receiver sets, there's a lot of running. I think that you want one main guy like JSN and he will be fed. And I think Walker, Sharps, and Darnold hopefully can keep the defense honest enough that we're not seeing JSN just locked down all game long. And as I've mentioned before, with Cooper Kupp, with CeeDee Lamb, with these dynamic receivers that can line up all over the field, go to the slot, it is hard to double team a wide receiver like that. I don't think that JSN gets double teamed as much as people are going to assume, just because he's the main guy. And they still could bring someone in, and they still got Bobo. They still got, you know, like I said, both running backs. So this is still a pretty decent, you know, team from a talent perspective. It really is. I love DK, but you know, what do they do with that capital? You know, that could be interesting. So we'll see. Baxter, appreciate you, bro.
All right, thanks, Smitty.
Later. Matto, final thoughts?
Wonderful last couple of days. That's all I have to say, man. It's been a lot of fun. Thanks, Smitty.
It's been good. All right, later, bro. Good prediction. Later. Throat is dry.
The Bears just signed Grady Jarrett. Falcons released him earlier today, defensive tackle.
Yeah.
So Bears are making moves.
Makari to the offensive line. Jaguars got Ravens offensive line. DeBalt dropping a $50 a watt. Is this a prediction?
Nice.
What do we got, DeBalt? What do we got? $50 holler. Let's go.
$50 holler. Give me $50 holler. Right there by the river, Smitty. Give me $50.
Appreciate you, voice of an angel, Denny, singing that song to you. Stole this from PB&J, but Justin Fields comeback player of the year. Stamp it. Okay, so DeBalt wants to throw it up on the board. DeBalt, March 10, Justin Fields. Let's put it up. Let's put it up. Justin Fields, DeBalt. 310, DeBalt. Fields, comeback player of the year. There it is. Nice job. Thank you, DeBalt, for dropping the $50 prediction. Anybody wants to get in on this? $50, drop your prediction. Winner's going to co-host a show with your boy.
Hey, Smitty, I got a question.
Yeah, go, Bruce.
Who, with their new quarterbacks, who you think's going to do better at their ADP? Garrett Wilson or Jackson Smith and Njigba?
And Jigba. I'd probably say Njigba. I like Garrett Wilson a lot. I'm drafting him in the second round, and I'm drafting JSN in round 3. So, but that's not because I can, you know, not necessarily because I think, I don't know. That's tough though, actually.
Yeah, I seen it. I started thinking about it. Like,
that's a tough one.
Now my brain goes into overload mode. It's like, God, man, what am I gonna do?
Yeah, I probably still say JSN. I mean, I got JSN on the bold prediction board myself, and this is a bold take, but JSN top 4 wide receiver season incoming. But yeah, if I had it in a vacuum, I don't have to consider draft capital or anything. I'm just gonna make the prediction who outscores who. I'm gonna say JSN, but it's really close. I mean, Garrett Wilson's got a good spot, and people are gonna forget. Aaron Banks expected to sign with the Packers. It's definitely a tough call, but Garrett Wilson's a great second-round pick now. He was not before this because we didn't know. Man, this is great. I'm so excited for Justin Fields, man. I'm so glad he got the right advice. 49ers, Aaron Banks is now Yep. Let me refresh everything. Aaron Banks is expected to sign with the Packers. Man, the Niners are getting ravaged. They've lost Hufanga. They've lost so much, man. The Niners have definitely gotten blasted. How does anybody think the Niners are going to play well this year, man? I don't know.
I don't know. A lot has to go right for them.
Yeah, they definitely are going to have a... That's crazy, man. Dial into the phone line. Dial in.
I can't tell you, my buddy's a 49ers fan, and he's like bashing his head against the wall saying, what are they doing here?
Yeah, the Niners are definitely sitting on their hands. I guess the running joke is that John Lynch didn't account for daylight savings and set his alarm back or whatever, or forward.
He thought that the Commanders, since they released that Jonathan Allen, he was like, why didn't they just swap players? He says he could have done good for our defense, and instead they just get a 5th-round pick, and he got so mad.
Yeah. So yeah, this is a lot going on, man. Aaron Banks, that's a pretty good move.
Sleeper just posted a notification that said Titans are among the teams looking at targeting Russell Wilson.
Which means that Aaron Rodgers is probably a Steeler.
And so if we play this out, actually, so say Tennessee doesn't go with a quarterback, they pick up Aaron Rodgers, Levis, whatever. Say Cleveland doesn't go with a QB, say they take Hunter. Say the Giants get Ward. Where does that leave Shador and Dart? Do one of them fall to the second round?
I mean, you never know.
Or back of the first
you
round
never
with
know.
someone jumping in?
I think if you're Seattle or Miami, Miami's not smart though. Mike McDaniel doesn't seem to know what he's doing. I don't know if he's smart enough to say, "Give me Shador." I don't care what people think, obviously. And if I'm Miami, if I'm, a team like, New Orleans is not passing probably on Shador, or if he falls to 9, I don't think, to be honest. Or they could go Dart or something, but I think that they would take one of them. I hope that the Jets don't take a quarterback. Like if Shador fell and they take him and then Fields is in the same spot. I don't want that.
Fields would be pissed for sure.
I think Seattle will most certainly grab one. I don't think this Darnold deal is not something that screams anything past 1 year.
No,
so,
they should be looking for the next guy.
If I'm the Arizona Cardinals,
same with Las Vegas, honestly.
If I'm the Cardinals, I take Shador Sanders. Absolutely.
Yeah.
They're not gonna. I'm just telling you. And then I'd trade Kyler, I'd trade him away. I'd draft Dart and then trade Kyler away. But that's my feeling on Kyler. The Colts are probably not going to let one of those guys fall past him at 14. I mean, that would be crazy too because of what that means, But if you're smart, you'll just use AR5 as like a Taysom Hill or trade him. But maybe you do.
If I'm Sam Darnold, don't you think, like, look, I did all this, 27, I'm still young. Wouldn't you think they would let him have a second chance?
Let's say
in a sense,
maybe, yeah. But let's say, I just want to go to this real quick. Let's say, and I don't know if this is possible, but because I think Brock Purdy's market value went down so much that the Niners are going to get a deal done with him sooner than later. But if they didn't, let's say, wouldn't that be crazy if the Niners took a quarterback at 11? I don't know. That'd be insane, man. I don't think they'll do it, but
awesome. That'd be hilarious.
But wow. I don't know, man. These quarterbacks are hard to put your finger on it. I think some people could trade. I could see some of these teams trading down, like the Raiders, and then taking one. I could see, but I don't know that Shador could fall past 20. That's crazy if he does. I think people are missing.
Or trading back into the first round to grab one of these teams that need a QB, come back in the first round too, if they fall down that far.
I was watching a show earlier, and they said, what's the best spot for Aaron Rodgers? And this one guy's like, you see this? And he pointed to a sofa. He says, right there on the retirement couch.
Yeah. I don't know. I think Aaron Rodgers to Pittsburgh seems. I mean, the board's pretty damn accurate. Russell, if Russell goes to Tennessee, that's what we have on the board. Russell goes to Tennessee. Pittsburgh goes to Aaron Rodgers. Giants trade up to 1. I mean, it's 100%. So Tennessee getting Russ. It was Aaron Rodgers or Russ, and Pittsburgh's Russ or Aaron Rodgers, just because those dominoes will influence each other. But man, Aaron Rodgers to the Giants, I don't want that. I want them to go get a future quarterback for Neighbors. I don't want Neighbors to have like 5 quarterbacks in his first 3 years, man. You know, let's get him his guy. Let's get him Ward to develop with Ward. And I'm okay with Shador as well, because you're talking about Dable, you're talking about Neighbors, you're talking about Shador being pretty good there. I think Shador could fail in Tennessee.
Shador over Ward, because they were already throwing the ball together.
Yeah, but on the street, in streets of New York City. I don't know, bro. But give me Ward all day long over Shador, okay? Just making that point clear. But I'm fine. I'm fine with Shador Sanders to Neighbors. I'm fine if this doesn't work out. Tennessee might take Cam Ward and bring in Russell Wilson. I don't know. I think that wherever Russell Wilson and A-Rod go, those are threats to draft a quarterback because they're not long-term options. So we'll see. Bears have been making some good moves. You know, getting Grady Jarrett was awesome. I mean, this is good. The Bears have. The thing is, we've seen this before, though. You know, the Bears make good moves. You get excited. Remember when they had, you know, how excited we were about Fields' breakout season in Chicago, and in the preseason, first game, Fields drops back and throws 2 dump-off passes. He was 2 for 2, and they were both like 50-plus yard touchdown receptions to the running back. And they were like, good God, he's going to go crazy. And he had such a bad year. He had a couple of really good games. He was QB1 a couple times, but he had a horrible year in Chicago. It's just like, we've seen this before, but this does feel very solid. Like Chicago's, if Caleb can be turned into Jared Goff, which I think that's what you're going to see Ben Johnson try and do, this team will be pretty good. And if they draft Genty, which everything is screaming, I mean, they're addressing the trenches on both sides of the ball through free agency. They're not needing to use the draft, and it makes you wonder why like other teams aren't doing this. This is a very aggressive rebuild of both sides of the ball on the line, the trenches, and it's a great job by Ben Johnson and the boys. That's really, really good. It's surprising that other teams aren't, you know, getting aggressive with some of these guys, but.
You think they're taking the Eagle philosophy then?
No, I mean, Ben Johnson is taking the Detroit Lion philosophy, but I think he's going to draft Genty. I mean, couldn't be more telegraphed.
Makes sense. I mean, unless the Raiders jump ahead of him, you know, grab him first.
Yeah.
Caleb has no excuse now, though. I mean, they're giving him every
no excuse
possible thing he can get.
Yeah. Genty might not last to that. But here's the question. If Genty goes to the Raiders, which I hope he does, I want him in the Raiders. Even with the offensive line being rebuilt, I want him in LV. Genty goes to LV, do the Chicago Bears take Hampton at 10? You know?
Just thinking that, yeah. They could. Well, they did it with the, you know, Gibbs. Gibbs went way higher than anyone thought he would.
Because could Ben Johnson be involved in that again? Making a running back go way higher. But yeah, Hampton or Genty probably is going to be his target. Bears have 2 second-round picks, and they could go running back. Yeah. I mean, the thing is, though, he could take double RB. Ben Johnson could take Scattaboo and Genty or something. You know, I don't think we've ever thought about that. You know, but Ben Johnson with Monty and And Gibbs in his double, his 1-2 punch, he could definitely take.
Well, I wonder if they could move on from Swift, because they moved on from him in Detroit. They didn't seem to really, believe in him. They seemed like they didn't really like his fit there. Yeah. They moved on from him and went for Gibbs and Monty.
I'm hoping Genty goes to the Raiders though, but Hampton could go 10. He could definitely go 10. He could definitely go 10. All right, Bruce. We'll see you later, bro. Appreciate you.
See ya.
All right, Travis. I'll be back probably on another stream here soon. I'm just gonna end this one.
Yeah.
And then I'll be back with some more breaking. Like if Aaron Rodgers signs, we'll come back. All right. Appreciate you.
Yeah. I wonder if Aaron Rodgers will probably be the next. So I'll talk to you when that happens.
All right. Appreciate you later. Aaron Rodgers probably will be announced as the Steelers quarterback here shortly, and I'll be right back. I'm almost positive that's how it's gonna go for me. Appreciate you all. We'll be back. Don't worry. This is one of probably many streams today. Just want to make sure we button them up a little bit here and there. We got 396 people in here. Let's take some more phone calls before we leave. Dial in.
Call into the show. Call into the show.
Dial in. We got 388 people here still in the building from YouTube. So subscribe if you're new, because this is your one-stop shop. Let's take a few phone calls. Packers again agree with they agree to terms with Aaron Banks. That's great. Fields 2,500 passing yards, 1,000 rushing, says Lupo. What a day. What a day. What else do we got? Jaguars are signing offensive. Man, what are the Cowboys? Have the Cowboys done anything at all? I was going to say the Cardinals didn't do anything until they got sweat. That was okay. There we go, Cardinals. But what are the? There's a couple teams that look like they didn't even pay attention that today was free agency. The Niners kind of. What have the Niners done? Sum total. But yeah, Hampton could be really good in Chicago. Hampton might be a really good fit in Chicago. I hope Genty goes to the Raiders, man. Prime says, "Can anyone see my chats?" Why do you think you're blocked, Prime? Can anyone see my chats? No, we can't read. They're not coming through, Prime. We can't see them. Heard a rumor the Cardinals want Hendrickson. Maybe. Man, we're just waiting. Yeah, what have the Niners done? Have the Niners done anything? Dimey Brown and Josh Palmer situations. QB. Wait for this QB dominoes to fall. Niners. Yeah. Jalen Moore and Elijah Mitchell walked to the Chiefs. Hufanga, that was horrible. Why you let Hufanga go? He's so good, bro. I like Hufanga a lot. Luke Farrell. Mel from Compton, you're live, Mel.
Hey, good morning, Uncle. Well, good afternoon, Uncle Smitty.
What's up, man?
As a Buccaneers fan, I was wondering, what is your outtake, or where's the outlook with McMillan? I'm excited that we got Chris Godwin back, but what do you think that's going to do for McMillan with a 3-receiver set and not really a bunch of confidence in Caden?
I think McMillan's a great player, and I liked him a lot, man. I liked him a lot. But I think, he's going to just be waiting for an injury to really get in the spotlight again. But that doesn't mean he won't be a good, effective wide receiver 3. He'll certainly be. Like, he can still get 7 touchdowns in the third wide receiver role with Baker. You know, like, so understand what I'm saying. I'm not trying to say anything horrible about his situation, but Mike Evans is 87 years old, bro. Like, there could be a day, you know, and Godwin's 29. I mean, he could be the number one or number 2 wide receiver in 2 years, you know.
Yeah, because I recognize that we never really had all 3 of them on the field for a good amount of time together, at least this past season, with productivity, because, you know, McMillan was still developing in the first part of the season. So I was just wondering what you thought about that.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I am excited that Chris Godwin is coming back, though. I do like that.
Yep. Yes, sir. Anything else?
Looking to take the NFC South again. That's all.
All right. Appreciate you, man.
All right. Thanks a lot.
Yeah, call back if you got another one.
Day.
Hob G. We haven't heard from Hob G in a while. Hob G, what's up, pal?
Yo, what up?
What's
How
up?
you doing?
What are you doing?
Yo, I'm working.
So am I. What can I do for you, pal?
Word. I'm working and focusing on trying to get the belt this year.
All right. What can we do? What can I do for you?
I like what you said about the Bears, what they could do, Scatterbo and Hampton or Gentry, and get both of them.
Mm-hmm.
That's interesting. Can you expand on that? And where would you draft them in Dynasty?
Got it. Let's say if Ben Johnson wants to deploy his Thunder and Lightning, Monty and Gibbs, I don't think people will freak out about, let's say they draft Gentry or Hampton at 10, and then they draft Scatterbo or Judkins or, someone like that in the second round. I don't think people are going to be like, oh, I'm not going near Hampton now, or I'm not going near. I think people understand what Ben's going to do. You know, he's going to have 2 running backs, but I mean, that will be crazy. But the thing is, like, you don't need to draft any offensive line or really the trenches on the defensive side now. I mean, you really corners and there's some other pieces you still need to fill in. I get it, but I mean, this is a good foundation. Ben Johnson's done a great job so far. The one thing Ben Johnson does do very well is obviously build a team, or help build a team, help guide. You know, he didn't have all the decision making in Detroit, clearly, but obviously they used a lot of Ben Johnson's mind, or he's taken what he's learned and he's deploying it all over here as well. Like, hard to say. We don't really know what his role was in terms of how much, influence he had on some of the draft picks and everything. We know that he definitely was involved, but he's definitely building taking the blueprint and replicating it. The question will be, can he get Jared Goff value out of Caleb? And I think he will. I do. I'm not saying I love Caleb. Caleb is still a complete miss when it comes to taking him number 1 overall. But can you get Jared Goff out of him? Absolutely. We'll see what he does. If not, they better have a backup plan. That's all I'm going to say. Because they're gonna have everything else, in place. The thing is, we got to remember like how good the Jets looked, and they brought Aaron Rodgers in, and the Jets have been awful. So it's a lot harder than it looks to put together a team, even when it looks good on the surface level. That it doesn't always mesh well. We'll see, but good looking squad so far. Some of the offensive line, there's some age and some concerns, about like why did the Chiefs get rid of Tooney? Andy Reid's smart, bro. What's going on? Tooney was also, I think, the 21st ranked offensive lineman in 2024, and he got exposed in the Super Bowl, and he looked bad down the stretch. So did the Chiefs get rid of a vehicle right before it's about to crap out and sell it on OfferUp? I don't know. So there's some things to look at. Not everything's as amazing as it looks in some cases, but definitely feel like the Bears did a good job today and yesterday. What else you got, Hob G?
Just where would you take each? If they
I don't
either
know.
one of them 3 back.
I don't know. I mean, if Genty went to the Raiders and Hampton went to the Bears, I'm taking Genty. If Genty went to the Bears and Scadaboo went to the Raiders, I'm taking Genty, even in Chicago. I just don't want him there. I don't want him in the middle of that rebuilding mess. I'm not feeling 100% certain. Keep in mind how everybody said, like, we could say that they're building something, the Bears are back, etc., but how many people said that the Bears situation last year was the best situation a rookie quarterback has ever been handed? What happened to that? You know what I mean? How is that? How are we looking at last year like it was a problem? Like, oh, last year was bad. Last year, it was supposed to be the best situation a rookie quarterback has ever been given. So we just got to pump the brakes on thinking all of these offensive line moves, which are, one man's trash is another man's treasure type of, these moves. But they all, sum total, look pretty good. And Ben Johnson's telegraphing the hell out of him drafting a running back. It's just so easy to see coming, Like, if anybody's shocked if the Bears take Genty or Hampton at 10, they shouldn't be. Because it is absolutely the line of plan of attack for him. So, but, a lot to still go over, man. There's so much stuff that's still to come. I'm refreshing X as we speak. We're waiting for the Aaron Rodgers domino to drop. And on that note, hang tight, Ahabji. You can stay on the line. I'll come back to you in a second. On that note, on the Steelers front, on Aaron Rodgers, likely going to be a Steeler by every account I can get my hands on, unless it's Russell Wilson. But we're hearing reports that Russell Wilson's going maybe to speak to Tennessee. And the only reason you'd hear that, because Tennessee is also linked to Aaron Rodgers as a, like, potential last team putting their hand up. Not that Aaron Rodgers would go, but, like, you're picking teams on the field at recess and nobody else is left, and you look at the Tennessee Titans who don't have a partner. That's what everyone's assuming the leftover quarterback, landing spot will be. And so we're hearing word that Russell Wilson's now going to talk to the Titans. Why would he talk to the Titans? Smitty, a certified hater. You don't have to be here. We'll just, you don't have, there you go. Now you don't have to worry about it. We'll just throw you out of the live stream if you want. That way you can be a certified hater of Smitty outside. I think it's possibly, bro. What was I even saying? Damn it. What was I saying? I don't know. Doesn't matter. Just the Steelers that I think Aaron Rodgers, we're hearing news that Aaron Rodgers is maybe going to be a Pittsburgh Steeler now. And the fact that you then hear Russell Wilson's talking to Tennessee makes me think that Russ is going, damn it, my dancing partner has grabbed another partner. I better start looking. Because before, is Russell Wilson just in the bushes waiting. I'm at the Pittsburgh Steelers facility. I'm waiting. And then now all of a sudden, boom, he's got to get on a bus and take it to Tennessee because he might need a job. Ron Navy's on the line. Ron Navy, Russell Wilson, Aaron Rodgers, Russell Wilson. You have to pick one. You can't say neither. Which one do you want as a Steeler fan?
Kirk Cousins.
That's not the question. Kirk's not available.
Aaron Rodgers. I think we said that yesterday.
Okay, I just want to make sure nothing's changed, but man.
But here, I mean, there's a lot they got to look into Aaron Rodgers too, because they got to ask him how he's going to be around the locker room, if he's going to be show up and get to know the players. There's a lot of questions with Aaron, and Aaron's a complicated, complex person.
I think Tomlin, as much as we rip on Tomlin for a lot of things, he is the kind of guy that won't put up with a quarterback telling him what to do, or Tomlin's like, that's one thing he does do well, is he doesn't let that situation get crazy. So I think it'll be an interesting dynamic for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Very, very
and I know the
dynamic.
Steelers actually gave Darnold an offer that I mean, he still went to Seattle, but they did offer him. So
Yeah.
what's that tell you with their interest in Rodgers and how far have they come along in the talks with him, if they talk to him, if they're out there putting offers in on Darnold?
And at this point, everybody's like second choice, right? You know, this is leftover time. It's like, oh, where's Russ going to go? Well, you know, the Giants are in a tough spot because they can't guarantee that they're going to get one of Sanders or Ward. And now we're hearing so much negative, you know, buzz on Sanders that maybe some teams, including the Giants, don't want Sanders. I think they do. I think the Giants would take Sanders in a heartbeat. Neighbors likes him a lot. Dable's really good with quarterbacks like this that you need to kind of prop up and build and make confident. And for everybody that rips on Dable with Danny Dimes, who's to say Danny Dimes isn't a third of the quarterback that Dable made him into? You know what I mean? Dable might have taken a piece of trash and turned him into a pretty decent piece of trash. So Dable's a good quarterback whisperer, and I think that he'd be good. But the Giants, who are sitting at 3, don't have a guarantee that both those quarterbacks will be there because Tennessee could take Ward and Cleveland could take Shedeur. And so, you know, the Giants might look to Aaron Rodgers. And if they did, it doesn't mean they wouldn't draft Shedeur and play him under or sit him under Aaron to learn. And then if Aaron gets hurt, which is there's a decent chance of that at his age with the Achilles and all that, you know, this could be something where Aaron Rodgers, you know, kind of trains him and Aaron Rodgers doesn't have a lot of time and maybe he doesn't even play a full year. And then, you know, you're not paying him a ton of money. These quarterbacks seem to not be getting so much money that it's not worth getting. It's like you're having to. Aaron Rodgers is not going to go get the deal Darnold just got. So you can any team that brings Rodgers in can afford to do the rookie quarterback with Rodgers. You know, so it'll be interesting where Rodgers goes. The Giants, the Steelers, and the Tennessee Titans seem to be the only spots left at this moment in time. I mean, Cleveland's not interested in anything crazy right now. Well, we'll see. I think that domino will drop soon, though, Ron. I think as soon as I end the live stream, it's waiting.
I mean, if you think about where he has his best chance to do anything, it would be with the Steelers, of course.
For sure, because they can walk him in. They can walk him into the playoffs. He doesn't have to carry anybody. Yeah, it's
right.
Good. And
So,
DK, I mean, and if you're Aaron Rodgers, you have control right now, right? You're being sought after. You're a better prospect than Russell Wilson, which is just fact. I don't care what anybody says. I don't care what anybody says.
yeah, you're an upgrade to Russell for sure.
So right now, you're telling me that there's a better spot than DK Metcalf, George Pickens for right now. I do think Pickens could get traded, but DK Metcalf, George Pickens, defense, you know, the perception of Tomlin. This is where a quarterback would want to go. There's no better spot.
Mm-hmm.
Neighbors is in, you know, obviously an intriguing lure for Aaron Rodgers, but the Giants are a mess and they're not going to win now. Steelers could win a Super Bowl in Aaron Rodgers' mind with his help. In his mind, he can help this team get over that hump and win playoff games because the team can get him to the Super Bowl or get him to the playoffs. In Aaron Rodgers' mind, whether it's right or wrong, he's like, I can help this team as much as it can help me, and that's the first time I've seen that in a while. So it's almost as good as done in my mind. I don't see how Aaron Rodgers is not a Pittsburgh Steeler.
You gotta ask yourself too, what is Aaron's thought on Arthur Smith? Because that's who he's gonna have to work with. I mean, overall is Arthur Smith, not so much Tomlin.
Yeah.
And you know how much? Well, if Aaron comes in, will Arthur be like, okay, well, this is what you like, this is what we'll scheme up, you know? And because Aaron likes to call his own stuff. Aaron likes to do his own thing. Yeah. So, you know what? And we know that. Aaron don't like to be told what to do.
Yeah. This Tunzel news is awesome for JD5. So here's look at this. Let me put these trade details on screen.
What about your boy Sweat? Oh, that was a nice signing the Cardinals did.
Yeah. Texans receive second round and fourth rounder plus a third rounder this year. Commanders receive Tunzel. Woo!
Huh.
Woo! Wow. Commanders making moves, man. Crazy.
Yeah.
Crazy. All right, Ron, anything else? Hopefully.
Yeah, what do you think about Sweat? You Cardinals signing Sweat.
Yeah, that was a good move. Cardinals were quiet until the last second there. And then all of a sudden,
yeah.
Man, Jeremy Chin signing with the Raiders. It's been busy, man. I thought maybe when things started off going kind of slow, this morning, especially when it was noon in 9 o'clock my time, noon Eastern, and nothing happened for 4 or 5 minutes because Twitter was down and everyone's like, well, what's going on? What's going on? Is nothing going to happen today? But we'll be back. Ron, appreciate you. I'll be back in a little bit. I'm going to probably get something to eat, and then when Aaron Rodgers news breaks, I'll be back. Oh, we got Gump. Hold on, we got Gump. We got Gump on the line. Hold on, Gump, you're live.
How we doing out there?
We're good, Gump. What do you make of free agency so far?
Kind of like Reed.
You what?
I'm glad that Fields got a starting job with the Jets. That's a good chance for him. I like that.
Yeah, Justin Fields.
But if I was Pittsburgh, if I was the owner, I'd say get famous Jameis on the line over here. And while you're at it, find out if Johnny Football's been working out. The Pittsburgh Steelers are in a bad situation.
I'm not following these Gump jokes tonight or today.
Huh?
I'm not following many of the Gump jokes today. What do you
think? Get famous Jameis on the line and look for Johnny Football because they're in a hurting situation.
Well, I mean, we're talking about Aaron Rodgers. I mean, I'm not saying Aaron Rodgers is the best option, but he's the best option left. So they still got options.
Well,
I mean, look, Aaron Rodgers. Gump. Aaron Rodgers, DK Metcalf, Pickens. It's pretty solid. I mean, I'm not saying it's winning a Super Bowl, but that's a pretty solid shot. I don't think that's crazy.
You always work through the season. You work really hard with the fantasy. It's no accident that you do good. Has Rodgers put in the work? Has he worked out? Who's working out? Who's fit? You know what I mean?
Yep.
Is he lazy? Has he got muscles? Does he have a gym at the YMCA? What's going on?
Right.
That's the big question.
I don't know what you're saying today, Gump.
Older players.
All right. I appreciate you, Gump. I got to go for now. Call back later.
Can I ask
Real quick.
Ask one more question?
Real quick.
Do you think Reed is a good pickup for the Lions? Is he fit? Is he in shape?
Yes.
You think he's in shape?
Sure, Gumpy.
That don't sound too that don't sound too reassuring.
All right, Gump, call him today. Call him later today.
We know.
No. You're gonna keep. This is like my child. It's like, okay, one more time, and they're like, okay, and then one more time. No, okay, one more time. Okay. Ron, any final thoughts? I got to run. Appreciate you.
No, I'll catch up with you later.
All right, later, bro. Gump, call back in tonight. I don't have time for this today. I don't even understand what you're saying today. Appreciate you all. I'll be back. If you're new, we got about 344 in the building right now. Hit that subscribe button on the way out the door. Turn the notifications on. We go live whenever news breaks. Additionally, go live Monday through Friday, 8 p.m. Eastern. So we're live more than anybody you can find. So I'll see you all. Appreciate you. Be back as soon as there's big news. I'll be back again. You know, like an Aaron Rodgers type of move or a huge trade or whatever. We'll be back. Don't you worry. Thank you all. Appreciate you. Hit that thumb up button. Let's do it live. Thank you to my super chatters. Thank you, Channel. Thank you, Matt O. Thank you, BBQ. Thank you, Aman. Thank you, Hassan. Thank you, Carter. Thank you, Daniel Hart. Daniel Hart to the moon. Can you give me those clowns in Miami a wake-up call? Did I not put this on screen, Daniel? Can you give those clowns in Miami a wake-up call? Miami Mike is busy playing checkers at the local nursing home. Daniel, did I read that? I don't think I read that. I'm sorry, bro. I see it here now, though. Thank you, Daniel. Appreciate your super chat, bro. Carter, appreciate your super chat. Joshua Palmer to the Bills. Shakir signed. Keon Coleman cooked. Jeff, did I read this one as well? If Keon Coleman cooked, Wilson or JSN moving forward. Wilson you draft higher, but again, answering the question earlier, I like JSN a little more, but his ADP's lower, so you got to take advantage of that third round JSN ADP. You know what I mean? Keon's not cooked. I mean, they aren't improving things, really. So Keon's got a nice situation still, when you think about it. Thank you, BBQ. Thank you, DeBalt, for the $50 prediction. Daniel, appreciate you, bro. Sorry I didn't read that until now. I don't know. Somehow it slipped through. Daniel to the moon. Thank you, Joshua. All right. See you guys in a little bit. Appreciate you.